All right, welcome. Today we're tackling a big one, right? How do we help our students not just survive, but actually thrive in a world that's just completely saturated with social media? So we're going to break down the challenges, and then we'll map out a clear game plan that works for both the classroom and the living room.
Okay, so let's dive right in by defining what we're really up against. We're living in what folks call the attention economy. And what that means is it's this constant, kind of invisible battle for our focus. And let's be real, it is the #1 competitor for our students' engagement today.
So, if we're going to navigate this, we first have to understand the playbook that's being used to capture and, keep our kids' attention. So we're going to look at 3 key trends, 3 big things that are really shaping their digital world right now.
Okay, so trend number 1 is something called the dopamine loop. Now, what's happening here is that these platforms, they're using really sophisticated AI to create these little things called microhooks. Think of them as tiny personalized rewards, like, when a friend's photo pops up or a video about something you just Googled shows up in your feed. Each one gives you this little hit of dopamine. That's the brain's pleasure chemical. And that's what keeps your thumb moving. And the goal here? It's not just about entertainment. It's about intentionally breaking up a student's attention span.
And this fragmentation, it has a really direct consequence. So on one side, you've got what we call deep work, that focused concentration you need to read a long book or solve a tough math problem. And on the other side, well, that's what you see with heavy social media users. It's this struggle to sustain that focus, which, of course, makes schoolwork feel almost impossible.
All right, the next big one is the sleep gap. And this is driven by something a lot of us are probably guilty of, the late-night vampire scroll. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that mindless scrolling in bed way after you meant to go to sleep, and it's all fueled by this endless feed that just never, ever stops serving you new stuff. And please, make no mistake about this. This is not some minor habit. This late-night scrolling has become the #1 reason students are showing up to school feeling groggy, unfocused, and just not ready to learn. It's a massive hurdle before the first bell even rings.
And to put that into perspective, the cognitive impact of this chronic sleep loss is, well, it's profound. We're talking about an effect that's academically equivalent to being a full grade level behind. Just let that sink in for a second. That's how serious this sleep gap really is.
And the final trend, this one's a really new twist on media literacy. So a lot of students are looking for more raw, authentic content instead of those super polished influencers. But at the same time, AI-generated deep-fake personalities are getting so convincing that it's almost impossible to tell what's real and what's fake. This is a brand new hurdle for, well, all of us.
Okay, so we've laid out the challenges. The big question is, what do we actually do about it? Well, now we're going to build our own counter playbook. We're talking simple, actionable strategies that help create a unified front between home and school. Okay, so for teachers in the classroom, there are 2 crucial points here. First, intentionally build in analog minutes. These are just short, tech-free breaks where students can practice, refocusing their attention without any digital distractions. And second, start treating social media feeds like a text that needs to be critically analyzed, just like you would a book or an article, to spot bias and check the facts. And then at home, parents can make 2 super powerful moves. The first one is to establish a tech-free sunset. The idea is simple. All devices get docked in a central spot at least an hour before bed. This is all about protecting that crucial sleep. And the second move, practice co-viewing. This means asking to see their For You page, but, and this is key, with genuine curiosity, not judgment. It's a way to open up a conversation about what the algorithm is actually showing them. But, at the end of the day, these strategies are really just entry points. The real power comes from opening up an honest, ongoing conversation. So what we have here is a quick toolkit of questions broken down by level just to help you get those talks started.
So we can start with level 1 questions. These are all about building self-awareness. Asking something like this, it just helps them start to identify their emotional connection to their device. Is it panic? Is it relief? Maybe freedom? And it's so important to remember there's no wrong answer here.
And here's another one. This question helps them recognize that hypnotic, almost involuntary nature of scrolling. It gets them thinking about that gap, right? The one between what they actually want to be doing and what the app has been designed to make them do.
Next up, we're going to move to level 2 questions. And these are all about encouraging critical thinking about the tech itself. I love this one, because personifying their feed really helps them evaluate the kind of vibe it's giving off. Is it a good friend, a gossipy one? Is it actually helpful?
This question is all about pulling back the curtain on data collection. It prompts them to become little detectives of their own digital footprint and really think about how their viewing habits are being turned into a data profile, a profile that shapes their entire online world.
And finally, we get to level 3. These questions connect their digital habits directly to their emotional well-being. This is what we call the vibe check. It's such a simple but powerful way to get them to gauge the real emotional cost or benefit of the time they're spending on these apps.
Now, this one opens up a really vital conversation about social pressure and, that performance of identity online. It helps them put words to the often unspoken rules about seeking likes and validation and what feels authentic to them versus what just feels, fake.
So, we've looked at the problems, we've looked at some strategies. What's the most important thing to remember in all of this? It's that mastering our relationship with technology, it's not a one-time lesson. It's not a problem we can just solve and then move on.
Yeah, we really need to start framing digital citizenship as a daily practice, kind of like exercise or mindfulness. It's this ongoing, active process of choosing where we put our attention and choosing how we connect with each other, both online and off.
And that leaves us with one final question to help turn all this knowledge into action. And look, don't try to change everything at once. Just ask yourself, or your students, or your kids, what is one small, manageable digital habit that we can practice together, starting this week? Thanks so much for joining me.